Wave of developments in the pharma industry this week capturing Wall Street's attention. We've got Eli Lilly's diabetes and obesity drug show positive results when used to treat sleep apnea in obese patients, sending shares of companies that make machines for sleep-related complications like ResMed and also Inspire Medical. Those shares were under pressure this week. And Novo Nordisk also getting some positive news for its weight loss drug after getting approval in China. So here are the top ways to play this sector. We want to bring in Jared Holz. He is Mizuho's healthcare equity strategist joining us now. Jared, it's great to see you. So if we just take a look at obviously the excitement surrounding these drugs within the pharma space and exactly what that is going to do to stock prices. Clearly, we've seen a run up in Eli Lilly. We've also seen a lot of that excitement play out in Novo Nordisk. I'm curious from your perspective, how much of this hype and excitement has already been priced in to shares at this point, or whether or not maybe these two stocks still have room to grow?
Great to be here. Thanks for having me. I mean, that's the real question here. I mean, these have been monster stocks for the past few years. Another banner year for Eli Lilly, up over 50%. Novo Nordisk up over 40%. Still think there's room here, though. I mean, the one thing that I keep on coming back to when looking at both of the stocks is kind of what the supply-demand metrics look like for the GLP-1 market. And we're still in, I think, the infancy stages, considering that it's only been about a year since both drugs have been on the market for obesity specifically. And then we talk about all the demand in the market that seems, at this point, unlimited. Plus, you've got all these different catalysts for, not curing, but at least addressing all these other underlying medical conditions, which make the drugs even better. So I think it's very hard to kind of predict either name from a valuation standpoint alone. But I do think the news flow over the next 6 to 12 months and even into next year are going to be potentially prolific, because we're going to be talking about more and more indications that the drugs satisfy.
With that in mind, I mean, investors are always looking at the healthcare space for the next major breakthrough or scientific advancement. What is that beyond GLP-1s at this juncture? And is it clear which company is pioneering that?
It's not really clear at all. I mean, I think in some respect, the next, innovation wave could still come as a result of the GLP-1 class, because both companies are looking at their technology for use in neurological diseases, including Alzheimer's disease. And we're going to have data on that roughly a year from now, maybe a little bit later than a year from now. So as I kind of look across the complex in biopharma, the GLP-1 still might be, the center of innovation in terms of what you're talking about, the next leg or, the next exciting area. Because outside of this, I just don't see market opportunities when we talk about dollar or revenue opportunities being anywhere near as significant as what these are going to do.
So, Jared, when it comes to, I guess, the potential here as to be the catalyst then for other names within the industry, we spend so much time, and rightfully so, over the last 6, 12 months, I'm sure for you a lot longer, talking about replacing a lot of the emphasis on Eli Lilly and on Novo Nordisk. Are those the two top plays within the sector, or are there other names that maybe investors should be taking a look at here that could kind of ride the coattails, so to speak, and also get a boost from some of this GLP-1 excitement?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think for me, Novo and Lilly are still going to be the top two. As long as they're dominating in this kind of section of the market, it's really tough to, not ride these a little bit longer. As far as other players in the GLP-1 market that might emerge that are of interest or intrigue to investors, I think we're still trying to understand from Amgen what their monthly GLP-1 data is going to look like. That's going to be available sometime this year, not precisely sure when, but they're looking at, the use of the weight loss drug on a monthly basis. That's versus Lilly and Novo weekly. So that's one to kind of watch out for. I mean, I've been pretty bullish on Merck all year, given valuation, given the fact that they seem to be doing a lot of smart things from a business development standpoint to kind of dilute the effect of Keytruda losing patent exclusivity closer to 2030. That's been the big concern, that the lion's share of their revenue is going away. But they've done a lot of smart things in terms of acquisitions and otherwise to kind of make sure that that erosion is not as extreme. And I think AstraZeneca is probably fourth. So I think Astra and Merck as kind of like still very solid quality names in pharma that you can play. They don't have huge GLP-1 exposure, but I think Amgen's going to be interesting. I don't have a strong view on it. We really haven't seen a lot of data. Companies seem super bullish on it. That could be one clearly worth watching into the second half.